Hello again, beautiful beings of light. Welcome back to another live Q&A. And of course, all of the questions today are taken from the memberships program. And then also only the members get to live chat today as well. So if you want to chat with me during this Q&A, then feel free to sign up and be a member. Today we're talking about a little bit of everything, honestly. We're going to be talking about the moon, the Galactic Federation history. We're going to be talking about the ancient builder races, the massive Schumann resonance glitch that just recently happened. And I want to tell you that all of this information is really across the board, and I want to already just kind of preface with the fact that I don't have all of the answers for you today, but I'm hoping that I have a couple of seeds to plant for you to maybe open up your mind to other things. Okay, and that right there is my next painting, so it's so big. It's like the size of me, so I don't know where to put it in this very small place that we live. I also want to say too that I'm very open as far as what tomorrow's live video is going to be at 5:55. I was contemplating just taking it off because it's Labor Day, I believe, in Canada and America. Not totally sure because I just never take days off. So I'm like, just another day for me. But I wanted to just kind of mention, if you have a good topic for a video that you want to see me do, whether that be tomorrow or any other day, I'm definitely open to more topics, video topics. So go ahead and comment below this video, not in the live chat, but comment below this video. I believe everyone's able to comment, whether you're a member or not. And then if you like a topic, please put a thumbs up, and we'll do the same thing that we do with the memberships, which is we'll just kind of democracy it, and whoever has the most amount of thumbs up are going to be the topics that I'm going to be pulling upon for videos in the future. Typically what I do is I just tune in to the collective conscious of the planet to see what you guys really need pretty much the day of the video, which is really interesting. So I'm pretty open. If I'm not really feeling tomorrow or a really epic idea doesn't come through, then I will probably just leave it open and just take a day off and just chill out. But if I do get very excited about a topic or a video, I will be sure to bring that information to you guys. So thank you. Thank you so much, Samantha, for that beautiful super chat. That was really super generous. You guys, honestly don't have to give me super chats or donations, but it's always very appreciated. I also want to say, just at a personal level, like the past 3 nights, I've been having crazy nightmares and kind of like a psychic attack in the middle of the night. Same thing with my wife too. So we got Sharma to take care of that. She's just doing some clearing on the house now, and definitely said that there was a portal that was open up and there was a bunch of reps and some tracking devices and whatnot. So we're getting all that cleared now, but my energy isn't as high as it typically is just because of those attacks. I'm not sure what brought it on, but I mean, it is just what I do, so it's to be expected. And other than that, I feel so freaking good, guys. I feel so good about making my decision to not go the mainstream route, to stay out of it. In my mind, it's like, I don't just want to be a YouTuber, but also I'm not just a YouTuber, So I just feel like the mainstream would be really pigeonholing me and categorizing me and putting me in a container and taking away my true essence. So I just feel really good that this is the direction that I'm going to go in. And I also got the seed planted just the other day of doing my own documentary. So I've been actually writing a book that's my own autobiography, which you might be sitting there laughing because I'm 28 years old and what kind of autobiography could I have at 28? But I feel like my whole life has been living a double life, right? Just even the silly example of me at 4 years old, astral traveling out of my body and popping into the body of my cat just to see what it was like to be a cat, right? So I think that would be really cool. That's all written in my book. That's not going to be released anytime soon. But to take that information and knowledge and my experience, in this lifetime and to portray it in a documentary feels much more aligned to me than any sort of TV show or mainstream or MTV or whatever. Just because it's my story. I get full creative rights over that, So anyway, yeah, so a lot of big things coming up, but the biggest one definitely being the release of my first book happening 2021. And I'm thinking that it's probably going to happen in April of 2021. It kind of makes sense, right? So we can all kind of get excited and gear up for that. And yeah, I don't know. So a lot of things, but I feel such a relief just putting the pressure off of trying to fit myself into the mold. So thank you all for really being supportive, especially on Instagram, and really kind of helping me through that decision, because I've really been split in a parallel way for probably at least a month now. Yeah, cool. And thank you so much. Who else gave me that super chat? Thank you, Jeremy. Oh my goodness, you're so freaking generous, you guys. Thank you, all my members, for being here. Holly, Cece, Hannah, Marion, thank you guys so much. Lisa, Sarah, Sherry, John, you guys are incredible. Really appreciate this. And let's just dive into it. So once again, topics, future topics, tomorrow topics, write in the comments of this video below, and then thumbs up the ones that you really love, okay? All right, so we're gonna start with Marion. Marion Kathleen, first question here. Do you have any tips on how to enter the quantum world and how to tap into the Akashic records? How can we confirm or verify that we're successfully doing this? And what can we do to further our connection? Great question. Awesome. Okay, so how to enter the quantum world, and then also how to work with the Akashic records. Definitely the Akashic records are my specialty. I guess maybe because I started my career with past life regression, and then I went into cosmic life regression, kind of like Dolores Cannon. She's such an amazing woman. And yeah, so first of all, how do we enter the quantum world? We're already in it. There is no such thing as entering the quantum world. We are literally already existing in the quantum world. And if you really take a look at quantum physics, you'll start to notice that they say, and this is really fascinating, that there are these very tiny wormholes. I believe they're called wormholes. There's these really, really tiny, like not even microscopic, like atomic, maybe even smaller, like subatomic. Yeah, that's what it is. Subatomic wormholes that are all around us. And basically, they theorize that if we bring all of these subatomic wormholes together, we can actually jump into different timelines, different realities, different dimensions. And that's definitely possible. I do that all the time. Now, think about your body. Right? If you think about your physical body being an accumulation of all of these particles and subatomic particles and atoms, and then you want to bring this whole vessel through a tiny little subatomic wormhole, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. But now, think about your consciousness. Think about your energy. Think about your vibration. It's just energy. There's actually no particles. There's no atoms related to your vibration and energy, right? So for us to take our vibration and energy and to hop it through these tiny little subatomic wormholes is actually completely realistic. It's completely possible. Right now, science doesn't study consciousness enough. Therefore, we don't really know what is or is not possible at a scientific level. I know what is and is not possible, to a certain extent anyway, because I've been doing it and experiencing it firsthand. But of course, I can't just say, experience it, do it, and you'll know. And you will. And everyone's kind of starting to do that a lot more often. So we're already in the quantum world. And all of the infinite possibilities are already all around you, which is amazing. And then how do we kind of tap in? So, okay, let me think about it this way. To get yourself from this physical being that you are right now to the point where you're experiencing the quantum world or the Akashic records, let's call it the astral world, That gap in between is different for everyone. If you're clairsentient, if you're clairvoyant, if you're clairaudient, you're going to have that gap being filled in different ways. So for me, when I started to first tap into the Akashic Records, there was a psychic that told me that if you imagine the Akashic Records as a filing cabinet, this is only because I'm clairvoyant, which means that everything that I receive comes to me as a visual. Even names come to me as a visual. So I'll know how to spell the name before I know how to say the name because it's a visual for me, right? I know what your aura looks like more so than what your name is because it's all visual. So what I recommend is if you're more of a visual person, and once again, I only know visual, so I can only really speak to visual. It's almost like you need a clue to tip you over into that world. So for me, it was a filing cabinet. So I would quiet my mind, sit in a deep state of trance or meditation, close my eyes, and I would say, okay, I want to open up the Akashic Records, of my own Akashic Records. Then all of a sudden, I would see this visual of a filing cabinet in front of me. And every file in that filing cabinet, which was infinite, I mean, it would stretch infinitely, every file in that filing cabinet was one past lifetime. So then I would say, okay, I want to be taken to the most significant or the most traumatic or the most powerful or the most whatever, right? You get to direct it, past lifetime that I've had. So then I would visualize, and naturally this would also just happen, the filing cabinet would open, and believe it or not, a file would pop up. In all of the infinite files, one file would pop up. I'm like, oh, that's the past lifetime. Then in my astral body, I would literally dive into the file, and this whole past lifetime opened up for me. So I used to do that for my clients as well. Nowadays, I don't need to do those visualization techniques. But this also reminds me of another visualization technique that I did years and years ago, like 10 years ago when I started doing all of this. And it was a healing visualization technique. This is really brilliant. I'm sure other channelers have talked about this before. I definitely don't think I made this up. Either someone told me or maybe it was a spirit guide. But it's a thing. It's actually a thing. So once again, visualizing in a state of meditation, in a state of quieting your mind, in a state where your eyes are closed, I want you all to imagine stepping into a pure white room. It's a room. It has no doors, no windows, and it's all white. Kind of like Neo in the Matrix, right? You just open up this white room. So cool. Then you ask for whatever it is that you're lacking. And what I used to do years and years ago was I would get sick a lot because I was draining myself a lot. So what I would do is I would say, I want every known cure for any illness to pop into this room. And all of a sudden these shelves would come out of nowhere, and all of these tinctures and essential oils and prescription pill bottles, which obviously they weren't prescription, would all pop into this room. And then I would say, show me the medicine, medication, the healing, the solution for my illness, my sickness, my sadness, my exhaustion right now. Show me the cure. And boom, all of a sudden something would fall off the shelf or something would pop up in front of me, and I would go ahead and drink the liquid or whatever, right? I mean, this is all in the astral realm, right? For those of you just popping in, you're like, what is she talking about? So that's possible. We need to realize that visualization, for me anyway, is everything. But clairaudient, if you are going about your day and all of a sudden you hear screaming babies out of nowhere, don't just say, that's weird. Do you hear that too? No? Okay, cool, moving on. So it's really important that you listen to that and direct it. If you get a weird visual of ice cream or a Christmas tree or whatever pop into your mind's eye, don't just say, oh, that's weird, and move on from it. Hold that frequency, direct that frequency. We're all psychic. We all have the ability to get into the astral realm. We just have to be able to direct it. Oh, so what is this? Oh, why am I being shown this? Oh, why am I hearing this? Oh, where is it coming from? Oh, what's the point of this? Oh, what am I learning from this? All the information is right there for you. All you have to do is ask. Okay, cool. Great question. Hopefully that makes sense, but thank you, Marianne, for that beautiful question. Next question here, and I also want to just mention too, thank you so much, Incarnated Elohim and Sherry and everyone else for the super chats. You guys are so freaking generous every single time. I'm just so blessed. Let's go over to Restoring Consciousness for a good question here. Can you talk more about the ancient builder races that came before the Galactic Federation? I'm aware of a spacecraft called Oumama. I probably butchered that. Which is currently in our solar system for 1 billion years. Da, 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 da. Maybe you could even dive into the blue avians or the golden head beings, who are high 6th-dimensional beings, and maybe even some 8th-dimensional beings. Okay, so I want to let you know that the astral traveling that I've done, and especially recently, I haven't had time to go back. Like, I'm so excited for October because that's when I have 0 clients, because I'm still booked up back to back to back in September. But I'm so excited to follow through on my quantum experiments. I'm so excited to follow through on more astral traveling. I'm so excited to like go to NORAD and different military bases and like astral travel again. Actually, what were we watching last night? Oh yeah, my wife and I were watching a true crime last night, and this guy was an ex-military from NORAD, and they're saying that NORAD, I don't know this, right? NORAD's like super high level, top clearance, da-da-da, like above like top secret kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's just go over there. So here we are watching this like true crime thing, and I'm like, that's what I call astral traveling and remote viewing. I call it creeping because no one else can see you. So I like creep over there, and instantly, like probably 3 or 4 psychic astral bodies, like psychic, what do I call them? Psychic military guys were on me, like instantly. I'm like, okay, this isn't something I just casually go do in the middle of a movie, you know? So like I left and I like had to like, maybe that's why we were getting psychically attacked, because I was creeping. Okay. You know, it's all coming together. Anyway, okay, that's besides the point. But I can't wait to have more time to like do the things that I love to do that are not always in the physical, right? Okay, so, sorry, I'm digressing. Okay. Ancient builder races. I don't know really, I know like 0.1% of what really went on in ancient human history. Where I started my exploration years ago was basically the Anunnaki, the reptilian, and the Galactic Federation involvement. Yes, at a certain point in time, I did see blue avians walking around ancient Egypt, but I really don't know much about the blue avians. One other thing that I've tapped into was I went to the Valley of Fire in Nevada, and I channeled a huge download about the Hopi people, the Hopis, Hopi Indians, and so the Hopis worked with the, what are they called, the ant beings? I don't really know, but I just got this huge download, and I saw these giant ant beings, which honestly looked kind of freaky because any of those insectoid beings look kind of freaky, including mantis, but they're so beautiful. Even the ant-like beings, like, they were so powerful. Not only could they literally, just like ants, lift a ton of weight, but they had this hive mind, like this collective hive mind, and I mean, it's so impressive. I even believe today that ants are so impressive, and that's kind of how you get shit done, is this hive mind, this collective hive mind. And so that's why humanity's just a clusterfuck right now, is because we all have free will. We're all creating our own individual reality, and most of our co-created individual reality has been hijacked by a collective power, right? So anyway, so I know that the ant species, the ant beings, I'm sure there's a better name for them, they were really heavily involved in helping the indigenous all over the planet. And then when the poles shifted or the ice age came, they actually helped a lot of us go underground. And that's when the inner earth civilizations were formed and created. And then when the ice age ended, which I just believe was a giant pole shift, some of the humans, some of those ancient civilizations came back to the surface, but most of them felt pretty good about being underground. That's all I know, guys. I don't know much about the ancient builder civilizations, but I do know that this planet is billions of years old. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that went on that we have no idea about, that I have no idea about, that I'm definitely hoping to dig in a little bit further moving forward. I'm actually even planning on creating a course, an online course, about the ancient human history of planet Earth. Once again, I know a little bit of it, like the battle between the Anunnaki, the Reptilians, the Palladians, the Lemurians. I know all of that, but it definitely doesn't go as far back as I'd like to. So that's to come. But thank you, Restoring Consciousness. Great question. Okay, next question. Lynette, I'm not even going to try and say your last name, but Lynette. Hi, I was just curious what life on Earth would look like in 5D. Will we be as dense in our human bodies? Will we need money, cars, homes? Where will humans stuck in 3D go? Good question. Okay, so ultimately, this planet, your living room, your home, are all gonna look the same. They're going to look the same, okay? So there's going to be a huge transition of all of a sudden we're in this like white light, existence. And the funniest thing is when I first started astral traveling to other planets and visiting other civilizations and species, I was shocked to see that they all still have homes. They all still eat food. They all still, not all of them, but procreate and have children and have family dynamics. Very interesting how similar planet Earth is to a lot of the other higher dimensional beings that are out there. Really, truly, it's weird. So eventually, I don't know if in our lifetime, I don't know how rapid things are going to go. And I don't know, I don't know because there's so many open-ended things. I really only know, I don't know everything that the Galactic Federation knows, but they limit me on the information that I receive because at a collective level, humanity is advancing so quickly that we get to co-create our own destiny. So the Galactic Federation is not involved in where we're going or what destiny we're creating, right? The Galactic Federation only knows this now moment and the very most likely next now moment that we're going to step into, but they don't know much else because we're shifting between different parallel realities so rapidly because everything's changing and we're making conscious choices and what have you. So will we need money? Yes, I believe that there's still going to be an exchange or monetary system, but I'm hoping that there's going to be something called a universal income. And the more of you that Google universal income and you research it and you understand that this is a very likely possibility where the governments are paying us a monthly wage, which doesn't mean that we don't work at all. It actually still incentivizes us to work. But we work jobs that feel most aligned to our soul. We're still going to need the mail guy and we're still going to need bus drivers. But there are people actually out there who love being a bus driver, who love being like a mail carrier and what have you. So I do believe in a universal income. I do believe that that's going to liberate us from the fear behind money and the monetary system. The more of you who research and understand that a universal income is possible, that we're getting this money every month from the government, that we can be liberated and free from the financial system in that way, the more we actually collectively co-create that. So do your research on a universal income. I think that's what it's called. And just realize that we're getting closer and closer to that. Yes, we're going to need cars. I mean, travel is still always going to be a thing. Yes, we're going to need homes. We're still going to need shelter and a roof over our head in 5D. As far as like food is concerned, a lot of us are just going to go over naturally to a plant-based diet. A lot of us are going to actually start eating a lot less. Same thing with me. It's like, just listen to your body. I will mention that I have an intuitive diet, which means that I don't really exist around the dogma of this is what I eat or this is what I have to eat and, those kind of things. I do a lot of intermittent fasting most of the time. I start eating around 1 or 2 p.m. During the day. And yeah, and so just the other day, like this past week, I was obsessed with honeycomb. It's really weird, right? But I'm like, why? What's my obsession with honeycomb? And I start to look into it. It's got a ton of antioxidants, like raw honey, raw honeycomb. So I ended up buying a whole pound of honeycomb on Amazon. I'm not even a honey fan. I would rather choose agave over honey any day. I don't really like honey. And in this past week, I'm not even kidding. I ate an entire pound of honeycomb because I felt like that's what my body needed. And you can even eat the wax and all of that. And I did my research and I realized that it takes like 10 times the amount of bees to create a honeycomb than just honey. So I gave a lot of love and thanks and gratitude to the bees to create the honeycomb and the honey. And actually, my wife wants our own honey farm or whatever. I don't know, bee farm. She's obsessed with bees. I don't know why. And so we might have that on our farm moving forward. But yeah, so just listen to your body as far as what it needs, because being in 5D means that you are not polarized into anyone else's dogma. Right? And I'm not saying to any of you, go eat honey. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying I listened to myself. I got what I needed. After I ate the honeycomb, I felt really good. And I felt like I wasn't drawn to honey and I probably won't eat it for another year. So just listen to yourself. That's what 5D is all about. Next question here from Love Light Sun. Will the rest of humanity learn about the horrible, evil underground tunnels and what's going on? Yes, I believe so. I believe that information will be revealed, top secret information, not just about the underground tunnels, but about many, many things, many nefarious things that have been going on. I believe that this is all going to be exposed and revealed. I believe that the dark side or the elite or the nefarious side of things are going to still push back. That's what we're seeing. Right now, we are seeing two agendas moving forward. The pure white light, love, collective unity, consciousness agenda, and the very dark, polarizing, linear, nefarious sort of agenda that is, going against the collective consciousness. We are going to see both of these agendas moving forward for the next 4 years. At a certain point in time, the nefarious side has to give in, right? But, be aware of something that you're attached to so much. Maybe it's an attachment to money. Maybe it's an attachment to your dog. Maybe it's attachment to your child or a piece of art or whatever, and think about that thing being ripped away from you, right? That's what's happening with the dark side right now. They have had all of the power and all of the control and all of the knowledge and all of the monopoly and all of the capitalism. They've had it all for such a long time, and it's all about to be ripped away. So a lot of these, shadow government, reptilian beings, they're all starting to really work with the light. And I've had so many messages recently of people encountering reptilians that are really positive, really loving reptilians that want to help them ascend, which is incredible. It's so amazing. So right now we're seeing a huge shift, but we still have that top 1%, even within the reptilian agenda and the reptilian energies that really still want the power and the control. So it's a battle. Like, we are in the middle of a huge full-on battle. So stuff is getting exposed, but you have to search for it. You have to hunt for it. It will not be in mainstream. All right, Courtney. Hi, EA. I know that there are a lot of us light workers on this planet, but what about the other humans? What is their role in this lifetime, especially if it's not in their lifetime to wake up? Okay, good question. Okay, and then the other question that I didn't really answer is, where will the humans go who are stuck in 3D? So this is kind of like twofold. Okay, so here's how I understand the humans that are not here to necessarily wake up. I believe that at a certain level, everyone on this planet is going to be forced to wake up. And you may be thinking or laughing to yourself right now, like, there's no way my family's going to wake up. There's no way my dad's going to understand the truth of what's going on. But like I said, in their own way, they're going to wake up. Maybe it's waking up to a different way of perceiving their life. Maybe it's waking up to a different choice that they could make, right? So waking up doesn't mean that they understand that this entire world is being controlled by the reptilian elite. Maybe waking up for them is just being a different person and being kinder to others and to themselves. That I consider also waking up. You don't have to have all of the knowledge in order to wake up. Let's just call it the people on this planet who are stuck in 3D. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Some of them who are absolutely unwilling to change will be naturally, organically taken off this planet. I also want to mention as well that right now we're seeing tons of earthquakes. We're going to see lots of tropical storms and hurricanes and flooding and you name it. The next 4 years, it's going to get rocky, you know? And so, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of exit points and a lot of passing for people who are being taken off this planet through these natural disasters, as well as, you know, certain things like the government, and I don't want to say genocide, but, you know, there's going to be major issues all over the world, especially in third world, developing worlds as well, because they just don't have the amount of freedom, and I say that in quotes, freedom, that we necessarily have here. So just being aware of all of that is really important, that everything moving forward is contracted with the individual. Those who are here that are not awakening to the fullest extent, they're just pillars. They're helping us all be here. They're helping us all elevate, expand. Like, I couldn't be with a partner who is a channeler as well, because no one would be holding us down, right? I'm with a partner who's a beautiful, incredible, pure soul who is very grounded, you know, most of the time, and she helps me ground, right? So we need these people who are not channeling interdimensionals or traveling the universe to anchor us. We need anchors, right? And, you know, if you told me 12 years ago that my friends and family would all wake up and watch my content or understand the information that was coming through me, I would laugh. I would laugh really hard, actually. And now here they all are. They're all waking up. They're all watching. It doesn't mean that like watching my content means that you're awakened, but they get it, you know, this doesn't scare them away, and that's incredible. And so from my own experience, I know that that's possible for all of you. Okay, Nicole Jean. Hi, EA. My question is on the massive Schumann glitch this past week. Was it actually a glitch, or was there a different energy that came through? I know that personally I felt very 5D and totally at peace and chill during whatever it was. Okay, so, yes. So I want to let you all know, yes, I don't really know. I'm going to be totally like real with all of you. I don't know what happened with this Schumann resonance glitch. I did try and tap into it. The information didn't come through, but when I actually like typed in Schumann resonance glitch, because I don't really watch it as much these days as I used to, there was a YouTube channel that came through, and actually me and this guy have been connected for probably at least a year now. His name is Michael. I want you guys to all write this down. His YouTube channel is Our Everyday Lives. And he was talking about the Schumann resonance glitch as it's a time of great void and it's a time of creation. So during that Schumann resonance glitch was basically like a blackout on the Schumann resonance screen. He was talking about it being the great void and a time of massive creation. Now, that really resonated with me. Doesn't mean that his channel or his teachings have to resonate with you, but he was the first one to pop up, and I watched his video, and it really deeply resonated. I think that because he's more of an expert in this and he's been watching it, I think he really knows what's up. So I definitely recommend, once again, it's called Our Everyday Lives. This is his YouTube channel. His name is Michael. And yeah, and so he said it was a great void in the time of creation. Now, that resonates with me because when we all close our eyes, to tune into source energy, that is the time of great void. You're not observing anything. When there's a huge blackout on the Schumann resonance meter, it's a time of great void. We can manifest and create anything. This is a perfect time to hold the frequency of what you want moving forward. So really be aware of that. This is a very powerful time to manifest, especially during these Schumann resonance glitches and spikes. Okay. So Holly Kenny, will the population of the planet decrease, and will the awakened souls only survive? So years ago, when I heard about the 144,000 from the Galactic Federation, I had this assumption that only a quarter, or much less than a quarter, of the planet was going to survive this great awakening, because that would be essentially the 144,000 to seed the planet of this new vibration. And I was really worried about that. Like, what are we going to do if we only have, a quarter or less than of the population of the planet? Nowadays, I realize that there is going to be a natural depopulation. I even want to say with the virus that's going on right now, but not even really, because it's basically like the flu, and this is what I felt the entire time, which is ridiculous. So so there's going to be a natural depopulation, just organically. Like I said, there are going to be more cataclysms. There are going to be more environmental issues. There's going to be more earthquakes. There's going to be, flooding and tsunamis and you name it, as well as some political unrest as well that's going to naturally depopulate, but never to the extent that we maybe have seen or read or what have you. I used to get apocalyptic dreams and visions all the time back in the day. These days, I just don't get any of that. Like, we are so shifted into this new timeline. Yes, things are going to get a little bit crazy, a little bit wild moving forward, but we're safe. I really, truly feel that we are safe. And I do feel that most of our friends and family members are going to be safe as well. I don't see the big depopulation. And I would like to think that if there was going to be a giant depopulation all of a sudden, that the Galactic Federation would have warned me about that. Even with something like the solar flare, that is potentially going to happen, that's more of like affecting the electrical grid rather than necessarily affecting us individually. So we'll see. It's very open, but I'll definitely keep all of you up to date with those downloads and information. Speaking of the Galactic Federation, I do have tickets that are on sale right now for my next Galactic Federation event. It's just $11 on September 11th, which is coming up. So just be aware of that. Tickets are limited. I don't know where we're at with ticket sales right now, but if you cannot make it during the Galactic Federation event, which is just going to be held on Zoom, and we figured out some of the bugs that we were having issues with last time, then you can actually buy a recording of it afterwards as well, which is going to be really cool. So I'm very excited to see, what comes through with them and who wants to step through and make themselves known. So that'll be really good. Okay, next question. Natasha Peach, love the name. Okay, so my question is about the moon and its influence as we ascend into 5D. Okay, good. Yes. Is there a connection to Saturn? Is there a connection to, is it artificially constructed? What's going on? I don't have all the information on the moon, but I do have bits and pieces of that information. Once again, it's just today isn't very, very satisfying because I don't have all the answers, but I'll just kind of plant a couple of seeds. This is what I know. This is what I've channeled when I've asked the Galactic Federation about this. What they told me is that a long, long time ago, so basically the moon was, like, they call it a satellite, but it could also be like a spaceship as well, because it moves. So originally, from my channeling, take it or leave it. If it resonates, great. If not, no big deal. Originally, what I saw was that the moon was created around Saturn, and then it was transported here to planet Earth. And the Saturn is kind of like the hub of the nefarious elite, let's call it. And so what I saw is that they created the moon as a reflection of low vibrational frequency to hit planet Earth to kind of entrap us, right, in this low vibrational energy. So I saw this image of vibrations from Saturn, I guess going across our solar system, hitting our moon, and then the moon hitting our planet, and it was like kind of like a satellite device, kind of. This was a long time ago. I don't really know timelines on this, just because it's very expansive. And then recently, and I'm like, when recently? I'm trying to think. They're not giving me a timeline here. It could have been as recent within the past couple of 100 years. It could have been longer than that. Who knows, right? Timelines are really difficult. But basically, recently, the Galactic Federation took the moon back over, and now it's emitting high vibrational frequencies. Now, I know for a fact that the moon is, I don't want to say controlled, but it's kind of taken over by the Galactic Federation, because my first ever Galactic Federation meeting was inside the center of the moon, which blew my mind. And that also tells me, once again, that this is a very positive space. There is a lot of bases that are happening, even human bases that are going on the dark side of the moon, which, I mean, don't astrophysicists ever wonder why the moon doesn't rotate? Like, how mind-blowing is that? That blew my mind. I'm like, really? We're not even questioning the moon and it doesn't rotate? Every other planet in the entire universe rotates, but not the moon? Like, that's a little odd, right? Like, that kind of goes against the laws of physics, just a little bit, right? It's just so funny how people just don't question things. Anyway, so the dark side of the moon, there are a lot of military bases. There are a lot of beings who were there, who were actually, as a matter of fact, they set up their bases a long time ago when the moon was connected to the nefarious elite, right? And so they've now brokered a deal with the Galactic Federation to say, look, you're not going to have to move your bases as long as you abide by the laws of universal laws, right? Non-intervention, da-da-da. So there's actually... The moon is inhabited by beings that are not really of the light, that are just kind of chilling there because they're grandfathered in from the last contract that the moon had. I don't know, really funny, right? I think it's funny. But anyway, so that's my information on the moon. Hopefully that fills in a couple of gaps for you guys, but it's not all the information, not even close to it. But that's what I believe. But that's why during the full moon, it emits this not radiation, but it emits this vibrational frequency that whatever your intention is, it's going to heighten that intention. Okay, just a couple more questions here. Alice in Wonderland. How was the Galactic Federation formed? How is it structured? The ET groups within it, relationships, agendas, intentions. How many densities does it exist in? I want to know the history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe this is a good question that I can ask. You know what? I'm just going to star this. I'm going to ask the Galactic Federation during the September 11th video to see if they can fill in any more gaps for me about this question. So it's a great question, Alice. From what I know, the Galactic Federation was formed a very, very long time ago, like probably billions of years ago. And I know that the Palladians were one of the first species to form this group, kind of like a government group. So absolutely, there are hierarchies involved. There is a structure involved. There have been leaders within the Galactic Federation, ambassadors and players within the GFL that have not been the highest vibration, that have had nefarious intentions. And there is some, whether it be conspiracies or scandals or whatever, that have gone on within the Galactic Federation. And a lot of those secrets, in a sense, are vaulted. Doesn't mean that the whole organization is corrupt. I mean, it's far less corrupt than the government system that we have here, and it's far more open. But you can't just say that just because they're reptilian, they're all bad. You can't say that just because they're within the Galactic Federation, they're all good, right? So we can't really just white label these things and just have assumptions. We really can't. There have been players involved in the GFL that have played both sides. I don't know all of the extent of the history or the information, but I definitely know that some stuff has gone on. And what else about the history? That's about it. Like, I mean, as far as the species that are involved in it, it's vast, it's infinite. Any species that is, let's say it this way. Any species that is against the dark side or not loving what the nefarious beings are doing in the universe, right? The malevolent beings. Any species that doesn't really love what they're doing or isn't on their side, they're on the Galactic Federation side. So unfortunately, out there in the universe, it is kind of like an us versus them mentality. And the Galactic Federation side is just like anyone who is here for the collective consciousness, anyone who is here for unity, anyone who agrees that there should be balance and harmony in the universe. The dark side, the malevolent side, all they want is more power, more energy, more control, right? So it's really, it's all of them versus everyone else. So it's really wide open. It's super, super wide open. But let's see if we can get a little bit more of their history and a little bit more of how they're structured in the Galactic Federation meeting of September 11th. So I'll just kind of write that question down and see if they can fill in any of the gaps, or maybe we can talk to like a Galactic Federation strategist and see who they are and what they can tell us about that. Okay, so next question. SND, Australia is likely to mandate the COVID vaccine, if not outright, then through extreme duress, unable to work, use public transit, attend schools, etc. This vaccine alters human DNA. How will this impact on quantum leaping and the awakening? Can we protect against the damage this vaccine will cause if our only choice is to take the vaccine or be homeless and unable to provide for ourselves and our family? Great question. So mandatory COVID vaccines. Let's talk about it. I believe that anything we put in our body can be overridden by our consciousness. And I'm going to repeat that because it's really important. I believe that anything we put in our body can be overridden by our consciousness. Your vibrational frequency is more powerful than the atomic vessel that is housed within it or housed around it. Okay? So, absolutely, we should not be fearful of this vaccine, especially for all of you in Australia. I know that a lot of you watch my content, and I know that Australia is going through a massive, massive shift right now, and Australia is going through a massive kind of like corruption right now as well. I mean, it's just very polarized in Australia. So, so what I recommend, things like activated charcoal, right, to get rid of heavy metals. I recommend intention setting ceremonies. I recommend gearing your consciousness up. I recommend gearing your body up. I recommend eating plant-based even before, the mandatory vaccine. There are so many things that we can do to help our body before, during, and after a mandatory vaccine, if that is what we're being pushed into. I do want to mention, though, if the mandatory vaccine is hydrochloroquine, which I'm really freaking hoping it is, I'm not going to say, I don't want to say anything definitely, but I just want to say that there's a possibility that hydrochloroquine is a decalcification of our pineal gland. I have not gotten a validation of this information. It resonates with my soul. The GFL will not make comments or statements on this as of right now, just because of some of the detriment or the effect or what have you that comes of making such a huge statement. I do want to say, though, that once again, there is a possibility that hydrochloroquine is a decalcification and an instant wake-up pill, an instant red pill. Is it the red pill or is it the blue pill? I don't know. One of those pills, right, is going to instantly wake us up, right? So just be aware of that, and then once again, prepare your mind, soul, and body. I got vaccinated as a kid, and I am psychic as ever. I was psychic as a kid, so don't be fearful of it. The more that you are scared of something like this, the more you lower your vibration, and the more it's going to affect you on a negative level. And last question here from Monica. When subconsciously astral traveling during sleep, what is the reason that we astral travel to places that appear insignificant? For example, remote viewing and looking into a stranger's window when nothing significant is happening sounds creepy, but it happens to me all the time. Does anyone else here have experiences, or have you had experiences where you have had a dream or an astral travel at nighttime and you've been creeping into people's windows? Believe it or not, I have heard this. I've done this, but more consciously. Yeah. That for me, it was more so like traveling around the dorm, the dorm rooms of university, or traveling around like, classrooms of university. But believe it or not, I have had this information. I've had so many clients of mine tell me all the time that they end up creeping into people's bedrooms, or even like giant like city skyscrapers, and looking into their apartment at nighttime when they're sleeping, and they're just doing that, naturally. That happens all the time. Now, the reason why that's really important and obviously seemingly insignificant is because it's showing you that you're astral traveling. It's showing you that that is possible. For me to say that every dream you have is an astral travel is cool, but it doesn't really kind of hit home for you. For you to actually be at someone's window that's impossible to reach, looking in, saying, whoa, I must be without a body, is showing you that you're actually non-physically astral traveling. Okay, so there's a huge significance behind these insignificant moments because we have no attachment on it. If you were, all of a sudden you woke up in the middle of a dream and you were astral traveling at a military base, you might freak out. So that's a more significant astral travel, but it also comes with more significant consequences as well, if that makes sense. Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. This is only going to be available for 24 hours. Then it's going over to the membership program. So if you're not a member, sign up and be a member. There's over 90 videos, I think, to binge watch. And as far as all of you, thank you all for the super chats. Feel free to donate in the description below. Thank you, all my members, for being here. I will be back tomorrow, so make sure if you have a topic, a video topic that you want me to cover, comment in the comment section below this video, and then thumbs up the one that you like the most, and those are the topics that I'm going to be talking about moving forward. Anything quantum physics, anything spiritual awakening, anything aliens, you name it. I'm so open, so across the board. And if I'm not really feeling like doing a video tomorrow because it's Labor Day or whatever that holiday is, I might not do a video. So please make sure you check out my community section for all of my updates, and Instagram too. I will update all of you on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. So thank you all so much. I love you. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday, and I will be back with more content. Bye.